Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. What if the calmest moment in someone's life turned out to be their final one? Today, the internet is in tears once again, because the full video footage of actor and singer Menglong has been released. It wasn't shot by paparazzi or media crews, but by ordinary people, 21 strangers who just happened to see him walking quietly through a sunset street. No flashing lights, no crowd. Just Menglong, unguarded and at peace, moments that now feel like destiny captured on film. That evening felt like something out of a memory, quiet, slow, and almost sacred. The sun had begun to sink behind the buildings, painting the streets in a haze of amber light. People moved gently, as if they too were aware of the silence that hung in the air. In the midst of it all walked Menglong, unaccompanied and unguarded, a figure of rare serenity in a world that rarely stops. He wore a soft pink jacket, blue jeans, and a white shirt, the kind of simple outfit that spoke more of comfort than fame. He wasn't trying to be seen, yet every movement drew attention. There was something in the way he looked around, his eyes following the falling leaves, his steps unhurried, his shoulders relaxed, as though he had momentarily stepped out of time. Those who passed him that evening later said that it felt as if they were witnessing a dream. One woman said she nearly greeted him but held back, not wanting to break that quiet spell. A man across the road noticed the way the setting sun framed his face, describing it as a portrait painted by light itself. None of them imagined that this gentle moment would become one of the last glimpses of him. There was no camera crew, no noise, no need for performance. Just a man finding peace within the ordinary. Someone eventually lifted their phone and pressed record. They said they did it instinctively, not out of excitement but reverence. It lasted less than a minute. Menglong turning a corner, his shadow stretching long behind him as the golden light faded. Yet in that short span something profound was captured, a truth that words cannot express. It was not the grandeur of a celebrity being filmed, it was the quiet poetry of a human being simply existing. The video would later become an echo of that calm, proof that even the smallest moments can hold the deepest meaning. It reminded everyone that in a noisy world, silence sometimes tells the most beautiful stories. When the news of Menglong's passing spread, the quiet one-minute clip that had been resting unseen in a stranger's phone became something sacred. It traveled through screens and hearts, not because it was sensational, but because it felt painfully real. People did not watch it out of curiosity. They watched it to feel closer to him, to hold on to something they could not quite let go of. In that small fragment of time, he wasn't the actor, the idol, or the star so many had adored. He was simply a man walking home, surrounded by the glow of the setting sun. That authenticity was what broke people. It was too pure, too human, too fragile to belong to a world that had already lost him. Online, the video became an unspoken conversation between him and the millions who loved him. Comment sections filled with words that read like prayers rather than remarks. Some wrote that it was comforting to see him at peace, that perhaps he had already found his quiet place before leaving this world. Others confessed that they could not finish watching without tears, that the stillness of the scene felt heavier than any tragedy. The pink jacket he wore turned into a symbol overnight. It was no longer just clothing, but a memory woven with warmth, a thread connecting every person who had ever been touched by his gentleness. Artists painted it, musicians composed for it, and countless fans replayed the video just to feel that calm again. What made the footage powerful was not the image itself, but the silence surrounding it. There was no dialogue, no music, no explanation, only the sound of footsteps and the rustle of evening air. It was as though the world had paused for him, giving space to something beyond words. That silence invited people to remember their own fragility, to recognize how quickly light fades and how precious every moment truly is. For many, the clip was not a reminder of death, but a lesson in presence, an eternal whisper that beauty exists even in goodbye. It became a testament to the truth that sometimes the simplest, quietest moments can echo the loudest in the heart. For many who have seen the footage, it no longer feels like a simple recording. It has transformed into a mirror, one that reflects not only the final steps of Menglong, but the quiet truths about life itself. There is something hauntingly beautiful about the way an ordinary moment can turn eternal, about how a few steps beneath a fading sun can become a lifetime's echo. People do not just watch him, they see themselves in him, the stillness, the solitude, the longing for peace amidst the chaos of modern life. In that minute of film, Menglong unknowingly gave the world a gift. The reminder that we are all fragile, fleeting, and yet capable of leaving behind light that endures. The world often celebrates noise, fame, success, performance. Yet what moved millions was the opposite of spectacle. It was the absence of pretense, the rare purity of someone simply existing without needing to prove anything. That quiet strength was what defined Menglong. He had built his career in an industry that demands perfection, but his fans loved him for his flaws, his humility, and the unspoken sincerity that radiated through everything he did. Now, in retrospect, that silent walk feels like the essence of his life. Calm, measured, graceful even in its simplicity. It reminds us that greatness is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers. The clip has become a form of meditation for those who revisit it. Each frame feels deliberate, though it never was. The gentle motion of his steps, the warmth of the light on his face, the way his figure blends with the horizon, they all seem choreographed by fate. Watching him is like reading a poem you don't fully understand but can feel deep within your bones. It stirs something that language cannot reach. And perhaps that is why people continue to replay it, not to relive the sadness, but to reconnect with a kind of honesty that feels lost in the world today. Menglong's quiet presence lingers beyond the screen. It has inspired people to slow down, to take notice of the small things, the way sunlight touches the pavement, the sound of leaves brushing against the wind, the peace that comes when we stop trying to be someone else. His final captured moment became a shared reflection on what it means to live with grace, even when no one is watching. It teaches that the measure of a life is not in its noise but in its gentleness, not in the applause but in the silence between it. The footage, in its unassuming beauty, turned grief into gratitude. It allowed millions to see that death does not erase a person's presence. It transforms it into something invisible yet everlasting. Menglong's last walk became a symbol of serenity and courage, a quiet farewell that continues to whisper across continents, reminding everyone who watches that the simplest moments can hold the deepest truths, and that even after the curtain falls, light still remains. As fans continue to share the footage, one message echoes across languages and borders. Rest peacefully, Menglong. You may have left this world, but your light still walks with us. His story is no longer about loss. It's about remembrance, kindness, and courage. Even in silence, he continues to teach us that the gentlest souls often leave the deepest marks. If this story touched you, please take a moment to share it. Not out of sorrow, but out of gratitude. Let's remember Menglong not for how he left, but for how he lived, quietly, sincerely, and with grace. Thank you for watching. If you believe in compassion, truth, and the power of light in dark times, subscribe, like, and stay with us for more stories that remind the world what humanity still means. We'll see you again in the next video.